Okay, welcome back. You're listening to the weekend edition of the Korelin Economics Report. I'm Al Korelin. Appreciate you joining me. I have a gentleman with me right now who is the president of one of our sponsor companies. It's a company that I have been involved with for probably 5 or 6 years, Michel. The company is Clifton Star Resources. I got involved in Clifton Star Resources initially because of a good friend of mine, Harry Miller. Harry and I go back probably about 30 years. Harry has been very, very successful in the past. One of the reasons Harry is successful is that he knows when to turn the reins over to somebody that's better qualified than he is, and he's definitely done that here. Michel Bouchard is now running Clifton Star Resources. I want to talk, first of all, a little bit about your background, Michel. You've been involved with 3 mining companies that you turned around that were taken over by major companies, pretty successful deals. Who knows, maybe the same thing could possibly happen here.
Well, it could happen. In my background, you're right, I'm a geologist. That's how I started. Then I continued to be Vice President Exploration, then on to CEO position as I got more experience. But you're right, over my career, I've been taken over 3 times already. And I think that Clifton is developing in a situation where you could see the same situation again.
The thing I find interesting personally about Clifton Star, and please don't construe this as being investment advice because I'm not a registered investment advisor, but the thing I find interesting about the company is my family and I went back and actually visited the property, Duparquet. It was probably about 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. We shot a video, which is still available, by the way, for viewing on our website. The property is very, very interesting in the sense that when we were there, they had significantly less than 1 million ounces of 43 in the 43-101 categories. Okay, today, under Michel's guidance, they're continuing to drill. The 43-101 reserves today are up to 3.9 million ounces. So something is very definitely going on.
You're right. We just published those numbers during this past week, in fact. And we announced that we had 3.9 million ounces. 70% of it is in the measured and indicated category nowadays, the balance and inferred. So the deposit itself is much more well-defined than when you went there, and that's because we drilled all those years. Now we're over 800 drill holes in it, and because of that, we've got much more confidence in those resources.
You know, Michel, the thing that I really like about CFO, which is the symbol for Clifton Star, is the fact that you're definitely in a mining-friendly environment. You really couldn't get into a more advantageous environment for a mining company. The whole area that you're in is basically you're surrounded by producing mines.
You're right. We're 50 kilometers northwest of Rouyn-Noranda. And because of that, this is a mining town. Rouyn-Noranda was started because of the mine. So you've got all the infrastructure there. We've got provincial road crossing the property. We've got the Hydro-Quebec grid, so cheap electricity. We've got all the manpower, the mining contractors around us. And we're in, I would say, mining-friendly Quebec. And because of that, I think that it's a plus to have a deposit there, because probably it will be straightforward to develop it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Michel, but I understand that Quebec, in terms of the provincial government, they're very, very supportive, not only politically, but also financially.
You're right. Just to give you an example, last year we did about $6 million of exploration work, and we claim a mining credit for that of $2 million. So they give you back a check because you take the risk of doing exploration there. So it's really one-of-a-kind place to do exploration in the world.
Well, it's a one-of-a-kind place, and let me tell you a little bit about the place. And if you have more interest in the company, by the way, simply look at the video which we shot. Admittedly, it's a little bit dated, but the fact of the matter is it gives you a really good idea of the existing infrastructure, which is no small thing to consider. Gives you an idea about the town itself that's right adjacent to the property. One of the reasons that the Quebec government, I want to say, is so enthusiastic about a company like Clifton Star is because ultimately you're going to provide employment.
You're right. When you look at the conclusion of the recently published PEA, by the way, you can find that on our website, which is www.cfo-star.com.
And there's a better way to find it. Just click on their banner. That'll take you right to the website.
And the other thing, considering the fact that that project is growing, it's going to provide jobs in the area, and as well, it's something, when you look at the PEA conclusion, we envision a 16-year mine life, and the deposit is still open. So it's a long-term project. So it's interesting for anybody that is into politics to a project like that is interesting, for sure.
Well, it's interesting and something you need to consider if you're looking at this company. But Clifton Star really is. I mean, in talking with Michel off the air, he was saying one of two things is probably going to happen. We'll either joint venture the project with a partner, or somebody will take us over. Well, I got to tell you, when you're still in the middle of your drilling program, everything is open on all sides, so to speak. 3.9 million ounces. That is a huge, huge number, and this is probably one of the best examples, given the area, the infrastructure, the asset itself. This is probably one of the top candidates out there when it comes to a takeover, project generator.
Probably. The other thing I'd like to say about that is the fact that this is ideally situated, but at the same time also, Clifton Star is not a diluted company. We only have 38 million share outstanding right now. So, and that's thanks to Harry Miller work before us that could keep on doing the exploration without diluting the company. So we're in a good situation with money in the bank, with a company that's not diluted, and with a very good asset.
The fact that there are only 38 million shares out there right now is definitely a very, very large plus. That puts the market cap of this company that is just under 4 million ounces right now. That puts the market cap of under $40 million. Well, if you do the numbers, if you look at the assets, if you take the value of the asset in the ground, you can see that there really is some real upside in this situation. I want to stress one thing, and then I'm going to give you the final word. Again, this is not investment advice. I will say this, by the way. Big Al is going to buy some shares in this company. I always give you 3 days notice. So 3 days after this video hits the site, I will be purchasing stock. You've got the final word.
Thank you, Al. Just in a nutshell, I think that the company is, I would say, at a turnaround situation right now. It's going to be re-rated by the market because we just published the results of the PEA, and I think it's worth a look.
It's worth looking at. Stick around. Big Al's going to be right back continuing the weekend edition of the Korelin Economics Report.